I think we're live now, Scott.
All right, here we go.
Whoa.
Notifications should be going out to all of our Facebook followers, which is outstanding. Here we are. It is January 29th, Monday, here from beautiful Salt Lake, the scenic Salt Lake City, Utah. Beautiful day today, Bob. Let me introduce our producer and studio owner, Bob Fitzgerald, right there waving to you. And again, this is Scott Fields, host of the Coach Scott Fields Show. So we're giving everybody just a moment to get logged in, get set up. Hopefully you're starting to get notifications. The show is going live. So hit us up with a little like, or let us know that you see us. Let us know that you can see what's going on, because we think we have it up and running, huh, Bob?
Yes, we do. We are up and running. I'm just checking the feed there. Now I've got to shut the audio down on that so I don't get feedback through the mic. But
I just got a notification. It says Coach Scott Fields Show is live. So hopefully those notifications are going out. We'll give everybody a few seconds to kind of click on those notifications. Hey, this Facebook Live format is something totally new for us. Whether you're on an iPad, whether you're on your laptop, whether you are on a phone, Facebook Live is an interesting format, and thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We're coming at you live. Just a few announcements here. Thank you so very much. Bob, this week we gained more than 140 followers of the Coach Scott Fields Show. So thank you so much for liking our show page. Notifications should be coming to you right now. Then you just click on that notification, and boom, you're seeing exactly what we're bringing to you live. We got a great show for you tonight. Couple of quick announcements here as we get going. There's a scroll at the bottom of the screen right there, and that phone number is 801-738-8697. Bob has the phone lines hot and wired, so you can call in with any comments that you have. Also want to give a shout out to Friendly Giant Films. Friendly Giant Films, he's on Facebook. That's Nick Fitzgerald. You can reach him at 801-856-3670. You can also like him on Facebook. Bob sounds to me like he is really growing that company with Friendly Giant Films there. Commercials, he can videotape commercials, video documentaries, any video production needs that you have out there. Friendly Giant Films, huh?
Right, yeah, absolutely. And I know he's worked on several major motion pictures in the last few years. So just growing his company and give him a shout out there and wish him the very best.
Yeah, so go like Friendly Giant Films right here on Facebook. And again, you can give Nick a call at 801-856-3670. Nick, we love you, buddy. Keep up the great work, and congratulations on all the success that you're having. Hey, we talked about the 142 new likes that we've had this week. We appreciate that. Real quick, the format that we're going to go with tonight. Just like last week, we did this day in history. We're going to do some celebrity birthdays again, some NBA birthdays that are going on.
Last week, I kind of gave a little invitation of Shaquille O'Neal, and the fans out there really seemed to enjoy that, Bob. But tonight, I'm going to change the voice, and we'll see how many people recognize the voice that we're going with tonight with our birthday shout-outs.
All right.
Okay. So we'll change the voice up. Had a couple polls this week. Little bit of fun yesterday afternoon. Of course, we know Mom last week wasn't really a fan of the facial hair. She didn't like the beard. You know, Dad put a post on last week saying, "Hey, your mom don't like the beard." So I put a little comparison up there. Yesterday on Facebook, I said, "Hey, it's the beard game," and we're like, "Who do you like better? Who wore it best? Coach Popovich of the San Antonio Spurs, or Scott Fields, your host of the Coach Scott Fields Show?" Love the bias, points that we had. Had some ladies chime in and say, "Scott wore it better." Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's a new look for me, and I'm still trying to get used to it.
Yeah, I looked at those pictures, and Coach Popovich there, I think I saw him out with a cardboard sign by the side of the freeway the other day. There was a guy that looked just like him if it wasn't him. So.
He needs to trim it up a little bit, but how can I get on a guy who's won 5 NBA championships, coached the NBA All-Stars 4 times? Come on. He's such a successful guy. I do keep mine a little trim. I keep it nice and tight. I keep a nice little chin line. So those of you out there who voted on the beard game, thank you so much. T-Money, our show blogger and gentleman who chimes in with us also, he put a running poll question up there. Please chime in with us and kind of give us your thoughts on his poll question. He asked which player left off of the NBA All-Star roster would be the biggest impact. And we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit later in another segment. We can talk NFL Pro Bowl, the game that went on yesterday. We're going to talk some NCAA basketball. We're going to talk NBA basketball. We're going to kind of dive into Team LeBron versus Team Steph. Those teams were chosen last Thursday, and I know throughout the weekend, different shows and podcasts and several different guys were also doing the same thing. But we're going to chime in on it as well. So we're going to have some fun with that. Also going to talk about later in the show, Bob, I don't know if you heard it this week, but ESPN did a documentary this last week talking about the team doctor of the gymnastics. And it is a hot topic right now. And MSU right now, Michigan State University, there's a lot of fire, and I'd like to kind of talk about that a little bit later in the show and would love to hear your guys' comments. And I'm also going to, throughout the week, I get a lot of people hit me up and they're like, Coach, what do you think about so-and-so? I really don't want to promote this gentleman too much and promote his antics, but I want to comment on a few comments that this guy made. I'm sure you guys have heard of the Big Baller brand. LeVar Ball, and of course his son is playing for he was the second pick of the LA Lakers, Lonzo Ball. This guy doesn't quit. Let me tell you, pulls his boy out of high school, says he's going to homeschool him, pulls his son off the UCLA team because he was caught in that scandal over in China earlier for the theft.
Right.
Get him back here to the States. He pulls him from the UCLA school and team, and now he has both of his sons playing professionally over in Lithuania. Of course, I've coached over in Europe, so I know that level that those boys were playing on was just the 17U team. That wasn't even the top team. So I want to kind of chime in on LeVar Ball and Big Baller Brand, because the Big Baller Brand is getting an F rating from the Better Business Bureau, and he squawks constantly and exploiting those boys, and then yet, he's trying to promote that Big Baller Brand. I get it, but I'm going to chime in on LeVar Ball later in the show, so I'm eager to see comments as those come in. Hopefully people are they kind of logging in here with us live?
Yeah,
Got a few comments or anything?
As we go, we're getting more and more people. We've got a couple of comments
Okay.
on there, so...
All right, well, let me say this. If you're on Twitter, if people use the hashtag Coach Scott Fields, if you tweet anything with the hashtag Coach Scott Fields, that will also come up on our live feed page, and those comments will come up with us on our Facebook Live format that we have as well,
right,
correct?
yeah, they're up on the screen right now
Right.
from you. We're looking for some fresh ones to come up, so...
You got it. And then also questions came up, and they were asking, hey, Coach, I don't have a Facebook profile, but I know that you're going to try to also put that stream. Now, it won't be live, but they can also tune into the show at our website, which is CoachScottFields.com. So CoachScottFields.com. A little bit later, that show will go up and be embedded there. But again, we're Facebook Live here, and we're having a good time. It's January 29th. It's Monday night. Come on, fellas. I know some of you are out there having to watch The Bachelor with your wife. Hopefully we're giving you something quality that you can watch with content. We're going to have some fun. We're going to be entertaining. This is going to be interactive, so let's do it with this mic hot. And let's go back to what we did last week, Bob. Let's talk about this day in history. That was fun last week.
That was a blast.
Yeah, so you know me. To know where you're going, you got to know where you've been. So this day in history, I'm going to start off with January 27th. January 27th in 1894 was the first college basketball game, Bob. 1894. The University of Chicago beat Chicago YMCA 19-11. 1894 on January 27th, the first college basketball game. I thought that was kind of a juicy nugget to put out there. This day in history, January 28th, the Blackhawks defeated the New York Rangers 10-1, and I can't even read my notes, but I know that some guy got 4 goals. I don't know so much about hockey, but man, I sure was trying. January 29th, which is tonight, 1936. Bob, did you know that Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth were nominated for the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Oh, really?
1936.
Man.
Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth, the Babe, huh? All right. So
Now, is it true that a lot of the players detested Ty Cobb?
you know, you hear both sides of the coin with that, Bob. But you know, you also hear so much about Babe Ruth too, and now. Of course, they didn't have social media back in 1936. So could you imagine if social media was following Babe Ruth around with supposedly all of his antics? You know, his I guess some of his personal things off the field were a little bit questionable. Kind of liked his alcohol a little bit.
Yep.
Kind of liked his women a lot.
Yep.
So you wonder if that would have changed the way people would have voted to get him in to the Hall of Fame back then. You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And with like
Let's
the
throw
Me
it
Too
out.
scandals that's going on today.
Right.
You know,
Well, everybody's got a
Yeah,
phone.
absolutely.
Everybody can make videos. I mean, the world has changed. Society has changed. And thank goodness it has, because we're coming to you on social media
That's
live right now. So
this would not be possible unless we had a huge television studio decades ago.
So the Coach Scott Field Show, we're social media influencers, right? Let's
Amen.
put that out there.
Amen.
Cool. Well, hey, this day in history, on January 30th, which is tomorrow, the 5th Winter Olympic Games opened up in St. Moritz, Switzerland.
Wow.
How about that? 5th Winter Olympics. That's a long time ago. Matter of fact, the Winter Olympics are starting February 8th, right?
Yep, they're right around the corner. Yes, they are.
Pyeongchang?
Yep.
Pyeongchang.
Pyeongchang.
Korea. Man, good luck, Team USA. Hopefully they're not having any trouble with what's going on over there as far as politically. Hopefully, visas are being accepted. Teams are making safe travel over there. It should be a great show, and I get excited to watch that stuff. So, this is pretty cool. I just got a notification that said 40 years ago today, the blizzard of '78 hit Indiana. I remember that because we got out of school for like 2 weeks.
Holy cow.
That was the best. I used to wake up every morning. Southeastern
So
School
did you?
Corporation has been canceled, and I was like, yeah, baby. But I do remember too that our house, the snow drifts actually went up over the, up to the house, and we could walk clear across the fences, and I mean, it was amazing how much snow was dumped on us. So thank you for that that notification and update right there. So see, that right there proves that the Coach Scott Field Show is interactive. Thank you for that update. Hey, let's go on to the next section here. Is anybody talking about the poll question?
Well, hang on. I've been doing some other things in the background there. So.
Oh, you're doing your thing, Bob. You're okay.
Let me see here. Oh, hang on.
Something happened there. I don't know.
Let's see. Roy Henderson says, Coach, you look and sound great. And
Roy Henderson. Thank you so much, Roy Henderson. Keep up the great work and the stuff that you're doing out there in North Carolina. He does a great job as a strength and conditioning coach, and he's empowering people with health and fitness out there. So, Roy, that's to you, man. Big round of applause. Keep up the great work. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate that coming in. Now, the poll question. So we had the beard game with Pop versus Scott, and if you go back on that, you'll see a little bio there of Coach Popovich and myself, and we kind of talk about it. But he actually went to high school in Maryville, Indiana, and I went to high school in Lewis Cass, Indiana. So we're both Hoosiers, Bob. We're Indiana boys.
couple of Indiana kids.
Gotta
Now,
love the Hoosiers, man.
You call yourself Indianans or
We call ourselves Hoosiers.
Hoosiers?
We are
Okay.
Hoosiers,
You're-
baby.
Okay.
Speaking of Indiana Hoosiers, Purdue Boilermakers beat them the other night at Indiana at Assembly Hall. So I know all the Indiana basketball fans out there are a little bit frustrated. Archie is doing his thing out there. It's going to take him a while to build that program up, but at least the game was competitive. But Purdue right now, man, they're in the top 5 in the nation, and we're going to talk about some NCAA basketball later as well. But we Indiana boys, we're Hoosiers. So Popovich and I are Hoosiers.
Hoosiers. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, so the other poll question that's going on out there, which player left off the NBA All-Star rosters would be the biggest impact? We're going to talk about who are on those rosters. We're going to talk about who LeBron picked for his team. We're going to talk about who Steph Curry picked for his team. And matter of fact, update, DeMarcus Cousins got injured with the New Orleans Hornets, or the New Orleans Pelicans the other night, ruptured the Achilles, went down right on the baseline. So I can already announce that Paul George of the Oklahoma City Thunder will be replacing DeMarcus Cousins. So that changes that up right away.
That does.
Oh,
hey, Scott, before you go any further, I was just going to let you know, we are live on the CoachScottFields.com page.
Wow.
And on BraveHaven.com page. So we're live on both of those formats too, if they can't.
How about that? So yeah, if you're out there watching with Facebook Live, we are also live. Bob just mentions, and what a great job Bob does back there. He's got us going on CoachScottFields.com, and he also has us going at BraveHaven.com. The Coach Scott Fields Show, brought to you right here on Facebook Live. I kind of like the new format because I like the interactive.
Yeah, I like the
opportunity
interactive nature of it also. You know, it's a little different than YouTube. YouTube, you had some possibilities to do that, but it wasn't as easy. And everybody knows how to use Facebook.
That's right. So love that. Hey, and also we got scrolling on the bottom again. If you want to call in and just say hello to us on the show, give us a call. Bob's got the phone line hooked up. It's 801-738-8697. Give us a little ring-a-ding-a, and we'd love to have you come on live on the show. I know T-Money a little bit later is going to come on and talk some NBA basketball, and I'm sure he'll want to brag a little bit about some of his, prognostications that he gave us last week, because T-Money's finger is always on the pulse out there, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, well, here, let's talk real quick. Let's talk about the NFL Pro Bowl. NFL Pro Bowl was yesterday. Kind of anticlimactic. It's hard to get players excited about. Oh my goodness, someone's calling in. But I'll keep talking about the Pro Bowl till we check that phone call.
Okay, they're on the air with us.
Who is it?
Who is this?
Who's with us?
This is an old friend, Dave Floyd.
David Floyd, how you doing? I know you're calling from somewhere down in Texas. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing great. How are you, Coach?
My man. Hey, Bob, listen to this. I got to coach Dave Floyd. I think he's from Katy, Texas. Correct me if I'm wrong. At King College in Bristol, Tennessee. Huh, buddy?
Yeah, this day 30 years ago.
Was that like 1988, Dave?
It was 1988-89 season.
Man, I'm telling you what, I just got a chill right now. Dave, thank you so much for calling in, buddy. It is great to hear from you. How's everything going down in Texas, buddy?
Hey, better than I deserve. I'm just going to tell you, it's been such a pleasure watching you and all your successes over the years. You had a great impact on me, and I think the world of you, buddy.
Dave, hold up. You'll get me all verklempt here. I'm going to get a little tear in my eye. To hear from a former player from 30 years ago, I can't tell you what a joy and what a surprise. That was not scheduled. That's live. Dave, I miss you, buddy. I would love to sit down and have a lunch with you sometime, and I know you've been doing some coaching. I think maybe you're coaching your daughters with some AAU basketball out there. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's going great. My daughters have both kind of graduated to AAU, but I'm still with it. I'm addicted to the sport, and I still coach youth out here in Katy. I do 5th and 6th grade girls right now.
Oh, man, Coach, keep up the great work, because you know what? Grassroots basketball right now is really lacking quality people who will empower the youth and teach the game the right way. So, my man, my hat's off to you. Keep up doing what you do, and I'm proud of you, buddy. I'm so proud of you as a former King College Tornado, and man, it's great to hear from you. Thanks so much for ringing us in, my man.
I will. Thanks, Scott. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Hey, appreciate your support of the show. Thanks for the call in, buddy.
All right.
That right there was worth it right there, huh?
Yeah.
How about that? I got to
pretty darn
coach
cool.
him. Oh, man. He was a great kid, worked extremely hard, and, the fact that he's out there coaching those kids right now, I don't think high school coaches and grassroots level coaches get the credit that they deserve, because that's where the fundamentals of the game is truly taught. That's where the development is truly going on. So to you guys out there who don't get paid much, getting yelled at by parents and by people who don't appreciate you enough, I'm just going to give you right now a shout out and say thank you so much. And our phone is ringing again. Who's on the phone with us,
I
Bob?
don't know. Let's find out.
Yeah, let's do it. This is fun.
Hello, you're on the Coach Scott Field Show.
Hey, what's up? Brandon.
Is that B. Sly?
Yeah.
What's up, B. Sly? What's going on in Alamosa, Colorado?
Just chilling. Just got out of practice.
All right, how was practice tonight?
It went good.
Man, it is good to hear your voice. And hey, congratulations on the big win against nationally ranked Colorado School of Mines out there. You filled up the stat
Oh,
sheet.
yeah, thank you.
Hey, you guys put it on them, man. That's a good win for you guys because you're going to move up the RMAC ratings, huh, buddy?
Yeah, we are.
That a boy.
Yeah,
Well,
we in fifth right now.
all right. So how's the body feel? You had good practice tonight? Class is going well?
Yeah, practice went well. Practice was good. We just shot one drill. And then classes are going good. Just got to stay on top. Make sure I do my work.
That a boy. Well, I'm proud of you. I know you've been hustling so hard, and you're building a name for yourself. Definitely heart over height right there. That's yeah, we'll tell everybody he's the starting point guard for Adams State University. That's my son Brandon Sly, and wow, how cool is that?
That's awesome. You got him choked up there, B.
Oh
Sly.
man,
What?
You got
appreciate the call.
Got him all choked up there, buddy.
Hello?
Yeah, my man, I can still hear you. I just got a little emotional there, buddy.
Oh.
This is live TV. It is what it is, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I was just calling to say what's up. I love you.
I love you too. Appreciate the call.
Yeah.
Wow. So proud of that young man, Bob. So proud of him.
Yep, that was
Ooh.
cool. That was cool.
Man. Get to hear from a former player from 1988. The son calls in and the phone's ringing again.
Oh,
Hey,
my God.
who we got?
I don't know, but here we go. You're on the Coach Scott Field Show. Go ahead.
Coach Field,
Yes, sir. Who we got?
this is Scotty Eastling.
No, Scotty Easterly. What's going on, Scotty Easterly? Or, where are you calling from, buddy?
I'm calling from Charleston, West Virginia, man.
West Virginia. All right. How about those Mountaineers out there now?
Well, they didn't look too good against Kentucky the other night or last night, so you know we're a little
Man, Scott.
heartbroken right now.
But hey, you know what? You guys, Coach Huggins is doing a great job out there with that Mountaineer program. Kentucky, you had Kentucky down. Kentucky made a great run there in the second half, and but man, I love the way you guys play, and I look for those Mountaineers out there to make some big noise. Come March Madness.
Well, I hope so. They got a lot of adjustments to make, though. They got to get that offense intact, though, for the tournament start.
There you go.
But hey, man, I want to reach out to you and tell you I'm proud of you, man. I enjoy following you and watching you, and continued success to you, man.
Scotty, I appreciate it. Hey, real quick, again, you were back at Keene College, and do you have a Coach Scott Field story from back in 1988 that would get everybody laughing a little bit? What do you got? Share a memory.
Well, I mean, I remember us playing down in, I think we might have been playing for Bard. But I remember you getting us really fired up before that game got started. It was like we were getting ready to play for a national championship or something. We were really pumped up before we went out on that floor.
There you go. Oh, wow. Man, hey, that's some great times, huh, buddy? Again, we're talking late 80s right there. Now we're aging ourselves. My goodness.
I know, man. I know.
Scotty,
I enjoyed every bit of it, man.
Hey, you and me both. We both come a long way, and sure miss you, and thank you so much for the call and the shout out. It just adds so much to the show. Scotty, thank you so much for calling from West Virginia, my man. Good luck to you.
Absolutely, man. You too.
You got it. Oh my God, Bob, I'm having a blast. Huh?
This is fun stuff. I haven't seen you smile that much for a while.
Oh, this is
That's
just
good
great
stuff,
Here
good stuff.
we were talking NFL Pro Bowl. Let me give that real quick thing. AFC beat the NFC 24-23. Von Miller of the Broncos was the defensive MVP, and Delane Walker was the offensive MVP. It's kind of funny because I saw a live interaction that went there. Drew Brees, the quarterback, of the New Orleans Saints. He had his 3 kids there on the sideline, and the 3 kids started fighting, and he had to stop the interview and go have a parental moment to teach them right from wrong and to have proper behavior off the sideline. So to me, that live stuff is the best stuff you can have.
Oh yeah, it's fun stuff. Anything live, because you never know what.
Well, just like these calls coming in right now. How cool. I'd much rather be derailed with the fun of those phone calls. Again, give us a call if you're out there watching live, 801-738-8697. My son B-Sly called in, got me all emotional. Scotty Easterling calls in from West Virginia. Dave Floyd calls in from Texas. Absolutely loved it. Have some more stuff kind of coming in.
There's one comment here I wanted you to kind of clarify. This is from Butch Piercy.
Butch, yeah.
Says, Scott Fields, freshman quarterback, comes into the game and saves the day. My senior year at Lewis Cass.
Lewis Cass High School. We went to Western High School. They were ranked number 4 in the state. And I was a freshman, and they put me in as starting quarterback as a freshman in high school. And we went in, we beat Western on their field. Butch Piercy, man, you are such an inspiration. I want to share a little bit right now. Butch, I know you're going through an amazing battle right now. Your strength, your courage, and your faith, battling that C word. And I know you've been down in Indianapolis getting some treatments. So, Butch, thank you so much for your comment. Our prayers are with you. Stay strong. And again, you are inspiring and touching lives every day. So continue your battle. Thinking of you, buddy. Thank you so much for chiming in here on the Coach Scott Fields Social. But Butch, thank you for sharing that memory of us going into Western High School. I think that might have been, maybe 1983, 1984.
He references 1983 in there, so.
Ooh-wee, I was young and could move back then, Bob. I can't do that no more. Butch, thank you so much for your comment. We appreciate it. But getting back to the Pro Bowl, to me it's so anticlimactic, and I know that they were down in Orlando. The weather wasn't too good, and they're trying to do things just like the NBA to try to get more viewership and get people to like it. But you know what everybody's excited for, Bob? Everybody's excited for this Sunday. You know what's coming on this Sunday?
Let's see. I have to talk in church.
That's important too. But Super Bowl Sunday. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles and those New England Patriots.
Yep.
That reminds me of another little post I put up. I introduced the new show mascot.
Yes, you did.
Betty the Bulldog. Hashtag Betty the Bulldog. Betty the Bulldog this week is going to make her live prediction. We're going to do a Facebook Live video. And Betty, forget analytics. Forget quantifying all the computer ratings and as a phone call comes in, but Betty the Bulldog is going to make her live prediction this week. Hey, as Coach Fitzdale said with the Memphis Grizzlies, take that for analytics. Betty the Bulldog's going to pick it live. Hey, we got a call, Bob. Who is that?
All right, I don't know, but you're on the Coach Scott Fields Show. Go ahead.
Hey, it's Tracy Graves.
Hey,
Team Money.
What's up?
Team Money, how you doing, my man? I'm glad you called in. How's everything going in Tennessee, brother?
There's snowflakes flying. It was 55 degrees today. There's snowflakes flying now. And somehow, Blake Griffin's in Detroit.
And so, not only is the weather bipolar, Tracy, let's get into that. Since you just brought that up, I'm glad you called. Because last week, you gave some predictions right here on the Test Coach Scott Fields Show. Glad you called in. We've had some other callers calling in. But Team Money, let's dive right into it. Let's talk about NBA All-Stars, Team LeBron, Team Steph, and your poll question that you put up. And hopefully we'll get some interaction with that as we're talking here live now. The way you worded the question was which player left off of the NBA All-Star roster would be the biggest impact. So, Tracy, let's talk a little bit about what you've heard about NBA All-Star, the teams, the selections. I thought it was kind of funny how Russell Westbrook, at the end of the game, they were talking with him, and I guess Melo was needling him, saying, look, you're the last player on the list. And they're like, no, that was alphabetical order, and then it kind of calmed him down a little bit. What do you think of those team rosters with Team LeBron and Team Steph coming up for All-Star Weekend out there in Los Angeles?
Well, first question is I want to ask LeBron directly is how much of a check did he write Steph to get Russ, KD, Kyrie, AD, Boogie, PG, everybody on his team? I mean, that's just that really should be in fix right there. No, I'm just kidding. At least LeBron gets a chance to play with Paul George, if not for just one game.
But hey, is that setting up something for the future?
Well, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I mean, this era of fake news, it's hard to tell what's real and what's not. I'm still trying to find out if it's fake news that Blake Griffin's in Motown, because I think Oklahoma City should have been in on that one. Oh,
wow.
My gosh. Could you imagine that lineup?
Man, well,
Carmelo, PG, Russ,
right,
Blake Griffin, and Steven Adams.
right. Well, hey, let's start
That
this.
would've been beautiful.
You know, to your first comment, LeBron James, we already know how great of a general manager he is putting the Cleveland Cavaliers team together. But let's
Yeah,
look
he's
at
been doing it for 3 years.
and that's right. So he's kind of a veteran at it. Now, if you look at Team LeBron, I'm going to read through the roster alphabetically, and then I'll read through Team Steph's selections and his roster alphabetically. Team LeBron, you've got LaMarcus Aldridge, Bradley Beal, DeMarcus Cousins, who got injured, and we just talked about him rupturing that Achilles, and Paul George is now going to replace him. You got Anthony Davis. You got Kevin Durant, who, again, we were told was his first pick. And then you got Kyrie Irving, who he gets to reunite with again after he left the Cavaliers to go play for Boston. You got Kevin Love, who's on his Cavaliers roster. Victor Oladipo, who is doing an amazing job with the Indiana Pacers. Kristaps Porzingis, John Wall, and Russell Westbrook. How do you like that team, Tracy?
How do you start at 5 and call the rest reserves? I mean, that is just a phenomenal all-star team. That reminds me of the summer of the lockout when they all were touring together. That looks almost like the same team, minus some of those younger players who obviously weren't there yet. But I mean, yeah, it's an all-star team to the nth degree.
Well, that could be
it's
that could
hard
almost
to-
be
it's
Team
hard to knock
USA.
Steph's team by any means, but LeBron's is loaded.
Hey, it could be almost Team USA competing for the World Championships or the Olympics. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Well, he did a great job. Well, now let's look at Team Steph real quick. Team Steph, I was told through reliable sources, and your finger's on the pulse as well, so you would know this, but so supposedly LeBron took KD first, so Steph took the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Then you've got Jimmy Butler, you got DeMar DeRozan, you got Joel Embiid, you got Draymond Green, you got James Harden, Al Horford, Damian Lillard, Kyle Lowry, Klay Thompson, and Karl Anthony Towns. How do you like that team?
I can't believe I'm saying this live, and LeBron's better. But I think Steph and Harden will be doing a lot of cooking.
Yep.
You got the chef, and you got James who likes to stir the pot.
Yeah.
And I think there'll be a lot of buckets dropped. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of defense played in the game, but I think the athleticism will be off the charts.
Well, I'll put it this way. When I look at first glance at Team Steph, it almost looks like he stayed with the format that Bob Myers has used putting the Golden State Warriors together, because it's very heavy on the guards, not as much size, but yet to have an inside-out game with Joel Embiid, who's doing a heck of a job with the Sixers right now. And again, that leads us to another topic with Joel versus Westbrook and that Instagram post that he did today after that dunk on
You like
Russell. I like that they're starting to get some rivalries back that are really real rivalries, because those two, given those, the stare downs and the mad dogs back at each other, that's kind of fueling back to when the NBA was super fun back in the late 80s and 90s, when the game was much more physical, there wasn't the hand checking. I do kind of like that going back and forth, because those two are competing against each other, and to me, I love that we need more of that in the NBA. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, they just, for the record, they are in there calling it Russadelphia.
There you go. I love it. So what do you think about the Blake Griffin trade? Now, Wojo, he was tweeting on it about an hour and a half before the show started. And, of course, the way that I read it, Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, Boban Marjanovic, a first and second round pick all will go from Detroit to the Clippers for Blake Griffin. Do you like the trade? Do you like the fit? And let's kind of dive into that for a second.
Well, what it looks like to me is that the Clippers are just going to go ahead and move in another direction. So,
Obviously.
is DeAndre Jordan next?
Right.
And if so, if I'm the Knicks, and everybody thinks the sexy pick is Cleveland and Washington and these other teams that are vying for Jordan. If I'm the Knicks, I see if the Clippers are interested in taking Joakim Noah's contract for DeAndre Jordan. I don't know if it matches up. I'm sitting in a car in a snowstorm, but
Right.
certainly I would if I'm New York and you've got Kristaps and then DeAndre Jordan, that would be nice, and then they could unload that huge overpaid contract that Noah has, and the Clippers could begin their rebuilding process, which it looks like they're trying to do. I think Blake will be a nice fit in Detroit, and I think that helps Detroit get back to not necessarily that bad boys days, but certainly the blue collar play that people have come to know and love the Pistons of over the years.
Well, Coach Van Gundy, he likes to go hard, and he wants guys that are going to compete hard, and I think he's done a nice job rebuilding that franchise and bringing credibility. Like you said, it's not back to the bad boy days, but you got Anthony Tolliver, who was a former show guest here on our show, who's out there that does a nice job as a stretch four. You've got some pieces there. You got Drummond. You got now you got Blake coming into the mix. But let me ask you this. Let's start something.
Is Doc Rivers, is he clearing cap space? So maybe they can sign LeBron next year to be a Clipper and not a Laker. Doc Rivers.
Yeah, I think Doc Rivers has bigger things to worry about, like saving his rear end.
Well, I just think it's interesting because you know how there's always rumors, and where there's smoke, there's fire. But earlier in the year, there was rumors about how LeBron already has his kids, enrolled in schools out in Los Angeles, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, he's going to be a Laker." But with them freeing up this much cap space, if DeAndre Jordan gets moved next, do you think maybe they're trying to clear room for LeBron and his entourage to come out there to be a Clipper in the future?
Well, that would have to be a heck of a lot of cap space because LeBron certainly isn't going to want to come to the Clippers organization and be LeBron and the scrubs.
Yeah, you got it.
And he's going to want to have all-stars around. That's going to be expensive for whoever wants to take a run at LeBron, including the Cavaliers. But if he's not happy with the supporting cast he has right now in Cleveland, he's really not going to be happy with what the Clippers have in trade fodder. And I really think that obviously Stan Van Gundy and the Pistons got a steal by getting Blake. Because the other side of it, no disrespect to Tobias or any of those guys, but it really looked like trading in a premium steak for a bag of chips and a Diet Coke.
Hey, I like Diet Coke and a bag of chips.
T-Money, you're keeping it real, baby. That's 100. I love it. Now let's segue from that because, again, your finger is always on the pulse, and I love having you on here because you add so much content to the show. You talked about in your running poll question, and hopefully we'll get some people to chime in on this live as we're going here. NBA players that were snubbed from a roster, who would be the biggest impact? Let me drop some names here. Lou Williams with the Clippers, averaging 23.1 points per game, 5.1 assists, and 2.6 rebounds out there doing work for the Clippers. You got Chris Paul with the Rockets.
I answered my own poll question. That would have been my pick, was Lou Williams.
Right. And see, that would, if I would have went ahead and replied, that's also mine. I think Lou Williams deserves it. He is the one who has kept the Clippers even valid. To even get even close to a playoff spot at this time. And again, Chris Paul leaves. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Lou Williams comes in there. Lou has done a great job with the numbers he's put up. In January alone, T-Money, he averaged 29.2.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So and again, I hear a lot of people talking about Chris Paul. He deserved to be in there, but of course, Chris Paul had the injury, and of course, the fans voted Steph in because Steph had an injury for a while too. So that's how Steph comes in. Steph gets to be the captain, but Chris Paul, his numbers, he's still 19.1, 8.9 assists, and 5.9 rebounds for the season. So will he still come on? Is that the major snub? Then you got Andre Drummond. They're out there with the Pistons with 14.3 points per game, 15 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks per game. So if you put an Andre Drummond on, here's my question. Everybody likes to say, oh, he's snubbed. This player on my team should have got this. The coaches are pushing. But who do you replace and who do you take off the roster if you take that snubbed individual out, right?
It's stacked. I mean, you look at LeBron's and say he stacked it monumentally over Steph, and like you said, Steph stacked his a la Bob Myers, but they're both stacked. There's not a poor player, and to be honest with you, there's been some poor players in recent All-Star history. The All-Star game has, in recent years, kind of almost become a snooze fest in some ways, because you have those players that get on there and they might get 4 minutes because they probably shouldn't have been on there in the first place. But going back to CP3, I mean, he's always going to be CP3.
Right. To me, still one of the best point guards in the league.
Oh yeah. The unfortunate thing was, he spent most of November on injured reserve, and unless All-Star has an injured reserve, that's the only way CP3 is getting on. I mean, if he'd have played all of November and continued to post those numbers, he's probably there. But like you said, in lieu of who? Maybe Kyle Lowry. Maybe if CP3 plays the entire season, every game, like James Harden, then maybe we're talking him instead of Kyle Lowry. But that's probably about the only drawback right there. That's probably about the only one you could plug and play and switch out. 100%.
And then, again, we didn't even mention Ben Simmons out there with the 76ers. 16.3 points per game, 7.2 assists, and 7.5 rebounds. I mean, he's flirting with averaging a triple-double. I mean, now, I know that's big. That's a lot to throw in your mouth. It's like eating an elephant. Russell did it last year, but Ben Simmons is putting up those numbers. Dwight Howard is having a resurrection season out there with the Hornets, averaging 15.5 points per game, 12.6 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks per game. So, those guys are still teetering right there on the cusp of making that all-star roster.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love that Dwight's back to the old Orlando Magic Dwight numbers. I mean, it's so great to see him there because, it's easy for him to get there because he has taken so many seasons off in L.A. and Houston.
Yeah.
But it's good to see him back to that because that's the Dwight we all fell in love with coming out of high school there in Atlanta.
Yeah, and then those great years that he had with Orlando, and then again, it's well documented, the back injuries that he's had, and how much that has taken a toll. But obviously, that back must be feeling better. Coach Clifford and Coach Silas down there are doing a great job with them. And then again, we didn't even mention some honorable mention people that are great names that, again, are left off the roster. Kemba Walker, who you talked about last week, DeAndre Jordan, Devin Booker, Jaylen Brown, Goran Dragic, and then again, Tobias Harris. So, again, there's quality players every year that's going to get left off that NBA All-Star roster. But like you said, this year is as good as it's been in a long time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is like being out there at the end of July, and you know this feeling, I know this feeling. Out there at the end of July when USA Basketball is fielding players to pare down to the roster that they have to pare down to. Same kind of process. Who should make it, who shouldn't have made it, and, who gets left off, and there can be an argument for another 16, 18 people for getting left off, and
that's right.
It's a phenomenal problem to have in the NBA.
That's right. And you know what? The game right now, there's quality play. There's a lot of backstories. The numbers this year for the NBA, I think Adam Silver has done a great job with that. I did hear some stuff going on this morning saying, hey, he's going to try to give them an incentive bonus of, I can't remember, $75,000, for a win, so that way they play harder. Come on, let's be honest. $75,000 for an NBA All-Star who's already making $30 million a year. I mean, come on, that it's not like, okay, baby needs a new pair of shoes. I don't know how much that's going to incentivize the play and the effort of the players, but you know what? At least he's being proactive and he's trying to do great things to continually put a quality product on the floor and make it entertaining for the fans always. Because again, if you don't have the fans, you don't have the league.
Oh, absolutely, and I too love what he's doing, and the fact that he's always evolving it, always thinking. He doesn't just sit back and say, "This is a status quo. These are the teams we're going to feed you every year." He has been a very involved commissioner. He is always thinking outside the box and testing ideas and running ideas by his people, so that it's not a totalitarian thing. Not to say that Stern was that way, but he kind of was. I mean, when you can nullify Chris Paul to the Lakers, yeah,
Right.
it's kind of totalitarian.
You're right.
But,
I'm with you.
But Silver is doing a phenomenal job, and I'm telling you, just to trickle back a little bit, the reason he's doing some of this, or the cause and effect of him doing some of this, going back to Blake, going to Detroit today.
That's right. Yep.
Those guys are going to be bruisers. I mean, how much pressure does that take off of Andre Drummond in the paint?
Yep.
And conversely, when they start gelling, how much are the Detroit Pistons going to be bad boy bruisers once again?
There you go. And again, which is going to make the East a little bit stronger, a little bit more competitive, bring in quality play and entertainment, to that Eastern Conference, which is a little bit easier, road to the finals.
Well, the beautiful thing, I mean, no disrespect to Ricky Mahorn and to Bill Laimbeer, but those guys didn't shoot like Blake and Andre can do. So
That's true. Hey, great point, Team Money. Well, hey, appreciate the poll question. Thank you so much for calling in, and again, always having your finger of the pulse of the NBA. But let me ask you this one. I know you saw that other poll question, the beard game. Who wore it better, Pop versus Scott? Come on, brother. Tell me the truth. Who wears the beard better?
I've never liked Pop with the beard, so yours looks a little bit smoother, despite what your mom says. But the top of the hair game, the great thing about you losing the hair on top is it don't look as crazy as Pop did in that picture. It looked like he just got out of bed.
T-Money, I love it, buddy. You ain't lying. I am follically challenged and not ashamed of it. So the beard game is on point, and we're just trying a little something different here. But again, Bob and I was talking earlier in the show. Pop is from a high school in Maryville, Indiana, where I was also an Indiana high school boy. So there's something about those Indiana boys that grow up and do some coaching, huh, my man?
Well, they know a little bit about basketball, I'd say.
T-Money, any other thoughts you want to leave us with, before we sign off and get you on for our next show? Because again, you've always got the hot take, so bring something for me, my man.
Well, again, we are looking at an earlier trade deadline this year, and another Adam Silver change there, trying to get that done before All-Star. So, should be fun the next week and a half, looking at things leading up to February 8th. I don't think the trade machine is done by any means.
Well, who do you think will be the next biggest move in the NBA? Is it Kemba Walker? Is it another LA Clippers move? Who do you think's jostling right now to make a move to put themselves in a better competitive situation or salary cap space?
I think everybody's kind of secretly thinking they can get their fingers on Paul George, but I think that's pretty solid. But I think Oklahoma City's going to stay solid the rest of the way out through the season, which would be surprising because Sam Presti does love to tinker. But I think DeAndre Jordan's probably got to be our next big name, sliding somewhere to the east.
There you say it for me one more time. Who is it?
DeAndre Jordan, I think he ends up going somewhere east. My preference would be Washington. I think it would be a great move for him to go to Washington, but, the Cavs are always going to be in that mix.
T-Money, you are the man. Thank you for calling in tonight. Love the content, love the insight, and it's amazing because a lot of your stuff comes to fruition. You know that.
Well,
go ahead, brag on it. Brag on it.
I'd like to see it happen.
Go ahead. You can do it right here live with us. Brag on it. Just say, yeah, I think I told you last week what was going to happen.
Well, hey, I've always enjoyed the fact that I did call Russell Westbrook to the All-Star team before he was even selected, and I called it the MVP before he was even selected 3 years ago. So
Yes,
I'll
you
take
did.
on that one at least.
There you go. Well, hey, all the best. Stay safe out there with those snowflakes coming down in Tennessee. Drive home safe, and high five and hug up those kids for me.
Hey, man, keep an eye on Rick Barnes and what he's doing here with the Vols.
Oh, amen to that.
Before you know it.
Amen to that, buddy. He's doing a great job out there, huh?
He is.
All right, my man. Sure appreciate you calling in, buddy.
All right, Scott. Have a good one.
Thank you, T-Money. Crowd goes crazy for T-Money. How about that, man?
Yep.
Hey,
Good call.
great content again. You know, one thing I haven't done, I kind of went with a voice there, and I don't know how many people picked up on that. I need to give birthday shout-outs real quick.
You got it.
You know, last week, it was barbecue chicken on the post, Bob, and some people kind of realized who it was. We were Shaqtin' a Fool, but this week we're going to change up our voice for our birthday shout-outs. Are we ready?
We are ready.
Now, I'm no pro. I'm not an impersonator.
But I got this voice, Bob, and I got to give birthday shout-outs this week. This guy just lost a player off his roster, and he shipped him off to Detroit with the Pistons. This is the way he sounds. He goes into playoffs, and this is what he gives us. So my birthday shout-outs for this week, Mark Gasol of the Grizzlies on the 29th turned 33. Andre Iguodala on the 28th turned 34. Iggy, happy birthday out there with the Golden State Warriors. Vince Carter, I don't get it. He's 41, and on the 27th, he's 41, and he still puts up big numbers.
Does anybody know who this voice is? Are we getting any interaction? Is anybody getting the voice yet? No?
I don't. Let me look here. I haven't.
I've got one more birthday shout out to see if anybody's getting the voice.
All right,
Come on,
let's see.
people.
Come on, folks. Give it.
All right, we talked about Coach Popovich and the beard game, Pop versus Scott. But Pop, our man, turned 69 on January 28th. Happy birthday, Coach Popovich. 69 years young, still doing a great job with those Spurs. I hate to coach against you when we're out there in San Antonio.
Okay, who's got the voice? Who is it? Anybody chiming in?
Come on, folks.
Yeah, or call in.
Yeah, give it a. Oh,
Hey.
Tanner Burks. Tanner Burks.
Tanner, who is
Doc Rivers.
it? Tan, you're the man. You got it. That was my Doc impersonation. I was prepared to give out the number 801-738-8697 to call in to see if you could get that impersonation. But Tanner, you got it, buddy. Tanner, chime in for us there. Tell us where you're sending us a message from, and then also tell us who your favorite player and favorite all-time player and favorite all-time team is. Love to have that interaction. Let's start that as we continue on with the show. So listeners out there, if you're watching on Facebook Live, tell us who you are, where you're watching from, tell us who your all-time favorite player is, and tell us who your all-time favorite team is. Would love to hear from you. Anybody chiming in yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Because they're sitting on their phones.
That's right.
And they're texting like this, so it's going to take them just a second,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they could call in and tell us. if
Hey,
they wanted.
801-738-8697. Call us and tell us where you're watching from. Tell us who your favorite all-time player is, and tell us who your all-time favorite team is. Would love to hear from you out there. We've talked a lot of neat stuff so far tonight. I want to go into some NCAA basketball because last week on the show, some people were chiming in. They're like, Coach, I'm a big fan of college basketball, and I'm a huge fan myself. Coached it for 14 years, had some nationally ranked teams. There's something about the college basketball atmosphere. I mean, the fans, the student body, just the enthusiasm. Like you watched the Cameron Crazies out there at Duke, and you watched Arizona and Utah this last weekend. I mean, great crowds and love the NCAA basketball. How about you, Bob?
Oh yeah, in fact, whether it's NCAA or high school ball, I enjoy watching those games more than I do the NBA.
Well, they go so hard.
Well,
Every night they play so hard because there's so much writing on it, don't you think?
yeah, I think so. And they're not playing for a salary. They're playing for pride and playing for
Love of the game.
Love of the game.
Wow, I mean, I know they're on scholarship, and again, that's a whole nother show and a whole other show topic. Should these NCAA players, be receiving a stipend of some sort? Now, some players, some people will say, hey, they're getting a full scholarship, and that's paying for their education, and that's pay enough. But yet, then you've got people who are exploiting these players and saying that because, they're bringing in millions and billions of dollars of revenue to these institutions that they should be getting a stipend. And
Right.
you're seeing lawsuits being won both ways on that. So that's an interesting topic to also chime into. But let's talk some NCAA basketball here real quick while some people may be sending in some live feeds with us or call us. Villanova going into this weekend was ranked number 1, and they beat Marquette 85-82 over the weekend. Virginia. I'm a huge Virginia fan, Bob, and my friend Tony Bennett does a great job of coaching out there. I've got a great relationship with him and the job that he's done out there. But for Virginia, ranked number 2 in the nation, they beat Duke this last weekend 65-63. Tony Bennett coaches up some defense out there. If you want a fast-paced game that's up and down, that's not Tony Bennett's style. He's got that pack line defense. Those guys play hard defense. I mean, it's like they kept Duke 30 points under their season average.
Wow.
I mean, you got to love the play of those guys out there and how hard they're going defensively.
Yeah, no kidding.
Already talked about Purdue. They're ranked number 3 in the nation out there for those Hoosiers. Purdue beat Indiana at Indiana. Purdue is now 20-2, and they beat IU this last weekend 74-67. Duke was number 4 going into the weekend, but with them losing to Virginia at number 2, I wonder when the new poll comes out how much Duke may slide down in the ratings. But maybe not, since they played number 2 and lost number 2. That ACC conference out there is great basketball. But what a great game that was. Kansas was number 5. Then number 6 team in the nation, Michigan State University, which brings up a whole other topic that we're going to dive into a little bit later, because you're seeing some interviews right now and you're seeing some topics about Michigan State and how there's been a lot of cover-up. The president has already resigned. The athletic director has already resigned. I'm going to say it. I'm putting it out right now. It is wrong of anybody to cover up an assault. I know there's a huge movement right now and awareness with physical assaults of female. I don't care, male, female, it can go either way. But if you have knowledge and if you know of an assault that has happened and you've swept it under the carpet and turned your eye to it, shame on you.
Yep, amen to that.
With that said, Bob, if you're a parent out there and you're watching the show, have that connectivity with your children. It's okay to ask them the questions. Has anyone ever made you feel uncomfortable? Has anyone touched you in an inappropriate way? Listen to what they tell you. And if they have been violated, please, whether you don't believe them or you do, please notify someone so the investigation can start. There's so many people out there who have been violated, who have been assaulted, who have been hurt, and who are victims. And if you are not doing something about that, you are now part of the problem.
Yep.
And I just wanted to just share that. And I know it's a hard topic. It's an emotional topic. This is a fun, entertaining show, but yet I also want to use this format to also say what I believe. And I feel that parents, coaches, if you're a coach out there and a student athlete will approach you and tell you that they've been made to feel uncomfortable by a teacher or by another coach, or if you as a coach, I'm going to tell you what, I am sick to my, if you are a coach and you have taken your power and you have harmed an individual, you don't belong in the profession, you don't deserve the title of coach, and I, as a person who love and admires the coaching industry, shame on you. You deserve everything that Dr. Nasser deserved by being put in prison for 170 years. To me, he deserves that, because think of the pain, torture, everything that he has caused those young women that he violated.
Yeah.
All those years as a member and a team doctor for the USA Gymnastics and the people that even under his umbrella working for Michigan State University. It sickens me. And I just wanted to speak on it real quick.
Oh yeah, I can't agree with you more. It's just a horrible thing. And if you are a parent out there and you feel even the least bit uncomfortable about something,
That's right.
confront it.
That's right.
Get it out in the open and
That's
get it
right.
over with.
You know what?
Protect, if you are not going to protect your child, who is?
That's right. Bob, thank you. I'm glad we're both passionate about it, and we can use this platform to get our message out there and tell the parents, take the time to talk with your children. If you're a grandparent, talk with your grandchildren. You know, it's reality. It happens. There are predators who are out there, and let's start a movement of protecting our youth. It's our job to empower them with confidence and to know that they can achieve anything. But if we're not protecting them and we're not looking out for them, again, the fingers have got to come back to us to do a better job of taking care of these individuals out there. Correct, Bob?
Yep, amen to that.
Got it. Well, thank you for allowing me to share that. I am passionate about it, and I just wanted to put that message out there to all of our viewers watching the Coach Scott Field Show. And if there are other individuals I know out there at Michigan State right now, hey, the heat is turned up. There's more and more things. I've seen Tom Izzo, Coach Izzo out there, you know, with some of the interviews that were going on, even in his press conference and after the press conference he was being hounded. I agree with Jay Billis. I heard him on ESPN today. I think Coach Izzo has done a great job, and he's been forthright, and I'm sure he's got attorneys in his ear telling him what he can share and what he can't share, and I know legally he's doing what he needs to do, and I hope all works out for him, because I think he's done a great job with that program. But I also feel too, and this is not being judgmental, but if he had knowledge and he was aware of those things, I hope that, I know he's praying for his team and he's praying for the survivors, but please, 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 I hope he didn't turn a blind eye to what was really going on there,
Right.
just to get a win. It's not about the wins and losses, and I know your job credibility is on it out there, but I'm just putting it out there. Some things are much more important than wins and losses.
Yep. That's amen. Amen to that.
I had to say it. Okay, NCAA basketball, getting back on a lighter note. Whew, got kind of passionate in here for a second. Got to kind of like that. Tonight there were games, and the game's probably over, but Northwestern was going to play Michigan. Notre Dame was playing Duke. Kansas was playing Kansas State. Some of the top players in NCAA basketball right now, Bob, when you looked at some of the polls early in the season, you had the gentleman out there at Arizona, DeAndre Ayton. You had Marvin Bagley III, who plays for Duke, two great athletes and have a bright future. Mohamed Bamba, who plays out there at Texas, another quality big man who's raw athletically. Michael Porter Jr. out there at Missouri. He got hurt early. A great talent. He's got a back injury. I hope that he's getting a speedy recovery, because I think he has a bright future, and I see him in the NBA in the future. Also, Jaren Jackson out there again at Michigan State. He had a big block here in the closing seconds that helped Michigan State win this game here just recently. He's the son of a former NBA player, a friend of mine, Jaren Jackson. And Jaren Jackson Jr. out there at Michigan State's another fine player. And everybody right now, it's funny how ESPN promotes and markets the talent. Everybody likes Trae Young right now with Oklahoma, because they're all comparing him. Hey, he's the next Steph Curry. He's leading the nation in scoring. He's leading the nation in assists. The kid's got game, but let's let him be Trae Young. Let's not try to say, is he the next Steph Curry?
Right.
Trae Young, you be Trae Young. You play your game. You keep growing. You keep developing. You keep working on your game. No doubt, you're going to be a professional player in the future. Let's let him enjoy his college experience. Let's let him enjoy being a student athlete. Let's let him enjoy his time being an Oklahoma Sooner right now. And let's not put that added pressure on these young 19-year-old kids saying he's the next Steph Curry. Hey.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing how we as a society we do that.
We do.
We put those labels on them and those expectations, and what a tremendous amount of pressure it puts on these kids,
It is.
and we don't let them be kids either.
That's right. Let them enjoy,
Yeah.
you know, the adolescence and growing. And I mean, life is about trial and error, and all those added pressures and expectations that we put on them is, I mean, stop living vicariously through the kids.
Right.
Let them be kids. You know, let's help them. Let's empower them with tools. Let's empower them with things that are going to help them grow as individuals and people. You know, before the player. Yeah, they're blessed with a lot of gifts and a lot of talents, and let them use those gifts to, you know, create a brand for themselves in a format, and then hopefully they'll use that format to inspire other individuals and give back to the youth and keep it going, because, you know, so many positive things can be taught through sport, and I believe that, and I feel I'm a byproduct of that myself, so
Right.
it's easy for me to speak passionately on that. So that was a little NCAA basketball talk there for you. Something current and that was trending today. The Cleveland Indians of MLB, they talked about how they were going to change their team logo. Their Chief Wahoo logo is now going to be changed because of the Native Americans are saying that it's not correct, and so now they're saying the Chief Wahoo logo is no longer going to be the logo. So are they going to change their name back to the Cleveland Spiders, which they were clear back when they first got into the league? But then, Bob, let's talk about that too, because if the Cleveland Indians are going to make change, does that mean the Washington Redskins are going to make a change?
Oh, I know it.
Does that mean the Kansas City Chiefs have to make a name change? Let's talk about it right here. Salt Lake City, we have the Utah Utes.
Yep.
You know, the Utes. So it's the same thing. And then look at Florida State University, the Seminoles. They had the old tomahawk chop. And then they talked about how that was also upsetting. So are we going to change all the mascots and logos and all of the everything that it's been for years in the brand? What is your thoughts on that? What's your opinions?
Probably
That's a tough one.
Probably get in trouble for saying it. my opinion is I think it's you know, and to me it's remembering them and honoring them.
Right.
It's not putting them down.
Right.
You know, when I was a
Love it.
kid, it was the Running Redskins for University of Utah, and you took pride
Yeah.
in that, and you.
It was a culture of its own, wasn't it?
To me, it kind of immortalized
Yeah.
the Indian culture.
That's right.
And so I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it from jaded eyes, but that's how I see it. I feel like I don't know. I just feel like
It's a sensitive topic right now.
it is a sensitive
So
topic.
let's throw it out there.
Yeah, I mean it's one that you can get in a lot of trouble just by
Yeah.
voicing your opinion on it.
Right. Right.
So
Thanks for sharing, because you know, I hear it, and then I think, are we really as a society becoming so sensitive that I think we need the sensitivity. I'm all for that, but yet, you know, some things, like you say, there's a brand within it, and it builds a culture of its own, and you're celebrating that culture, and I don't think you're taking anything from it or diminishing it so much. But again, I'm similar with your thoughts and opinions on that as well. And hey, if you've got a thought or opinion on it, give us a call, 801-738-8697. We'd love to hear what your thoughts and opinions are about, you know, the Cleveland Indians changing the logo and Chief Wahoo no longer being a part of it. Are the Washington Redskins going to do it next? Are the Kansas City Chiefs going to do it next, who are in the NFL? Because I know there's been talk about it with you know, the owner, you know, Dan Snyder out there with the Washington Redskins. But again, is it going to trickle down to college? Florida State Seminoles, Utah Utes, right here in our own backyard. Is it going to change?
They've already changed the mascot already.
That's right, because we got Swoop out there right now, right?
Yeah.
So and
Swoop
he
instead
does
of the Chief.
that mascot does a great job. And then talking about mascots, how about the Bear?
Oh,
I think the Bear is the best. We're a small market, but to me, he is as good as anybody in the NBA for what he does and what he does with our community.
Yep.
Love me some Bear. I think we need to get the Bear on here on the show.
yeah, that'd be great.
I know he doesn't talk, but he can hold up signs and then flip signs as he's sitting here on the Coach Scott Field
That's
show.
right. That'd
I
be-
love me some Bear.
that'd be
Let's
a lot
get
of
the
fun.
Bear, the Utah Jazz Bear, right here on the Coach Scott Field
That's
show.
right.
If you'd like that, give us a thumbs up on live interaction right now, huh, buddy? Cool. So, anybody chime in with comments on?
Yeah,
on
yeah. Hang on one sec. Let me pull up.
Please do. Read that for me.
Pull up the one here. I've got to change
Okay.
one thing here. Okay.
I'm kind of reading through as.
Eric Fields,
Okay, Eric, what you got?
Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, Eric, good to hear from you, buddy. Thank you for that comment.
And then that's
That's
the only comment on that
Okay.
that particular thing there. Did we finish talking about this upcoming Super Bowl? I know we touched on it, and then
We
T
did.
Money called in.
We touched on the Super Bowl, and I talked about our show mascot, Betty the Bulldog. She got some love on social media this week. Got a lot of likes, got some comments, and so this week, I'm wondering, Bob, I'm going to ask you, should I record it and bring it onto the show? But actually, our next show probably won't be until after the Super Bowl, so maybe I should just record it live and send out a live feed when she makes her Super Bowl prediction. What do you think?
I think that's what you ought to do. I think you ought to send it out live,
Okay.
have it go out. Groundhog Day is just around the corner too. So this is the Coach Scott Fields version of
That's it.
Groundhog Day.
Hey, listen, Betty the Bull. I love the personality of my granddog. She's my granddog, so it was easier to name her the mascot of the show. My wife loves that dog. Matter of fact, Whitney. Hey, Whitney, welcome back to Utah. We picked her up at the airport last night. Whitney's back home with us. That's her baby, and Betty the Bulldog is going to make her prediction. We're going to put it on live, Facebook Live. Betty the Bulldog will choose between Philadelphia Eagles or the New England Patriots. Let's have you call in if you're out there watching right now. 801-738-8697. Who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl? Bob, got any?
Well, here's my thing.
Nick's a Patriots fan,
No,
right?
my son Nick is a huge Patriots fan, and you cannot deny that they are
Oh,
an amazing team. You know, you see
Dynasty.
all the things on social media about
Yep.
Brady bribing the
Yep.
refs, and it's all in jest and stuff like
Right,
that. But
right. I
but
agree.
still, the thing. I mean, I always cheer for the underdog, so I'm going to cheer for the Eagles. Not only that, just to rub it in Nick's face, but.
Father-son
Yeah,
rivalry.
yeah. I look at it this way. You know, the Patriots have been there. They have the history. They know how to do it, and they're going to be tough to beat.
I agree.
The Eagles have struggled,
Yeah.
and they've worked hard, and
That's right.
they've overcome adversity within this year.
Love that
And
story.
they don't have anything to lose by going in and
That's right.
laying it out all on
That's
the
right.
line.
They've got a backup quarterback in there right now.
Yep.
Foles is in there. Carson Wentz was hurt earlier in the season. But they continue. It's like next man up.
Yep.
They do their job. They play their role, and they play as a team. Philadelphia, they're a team.
Yep.
And so, I mean, now talk about the New England Patriots right now. TB12, the diet, his doctor not allowed to be in the locker room or on the sidelines anymore. Again, it's amazing all this stuff gets out there, but yet it never distracts them.
Nope.
Bob Kraft and his ownership and his leadership obviously trickles down, because then you got the hoodie, Belichick, who does an amazing job, and he and Tom Brady winning together again. Yeah, I know some coordinators have left. You know, as soon as this Super Bowl's over, and they're going to go take head coaching jobs
Right.
of their own. Congratulations to them. I think they're going to miss the culture that is there with the New England Patriots. It's going to always be a challenge to build, the other franchises as they take those jobs, but moving that next seat over as an assistant coach, as I have done, going from a coordinator to a head coach, there's added responsibility, and that doesn't seem to be a distraction for him. And is Gronkowski going to play?
Yeah, I don't know.
Gronkowski,
He took a heck of a hit.
now again, that goes back to the concussion protocol.
Right.
I hope they do it right. Don't send that young man back on the field just because it's another opportunity for a Super Bowl when he has the rest of his life that he has to function with what could be, traumatic brain injury.
Right.
Traumatic brain injury, to me, again, is a sensitive topic. Love the movie that Will Smith had talking about brain injury. And, let's see if Gronkowski is going to come back and be that huge tight end target, for the New England Patriots, because he has that concussion right now. And then you look at New England, again, they win. They find a way. And how about, again, the job they did this last week with another victory,
Yep.
the amazing catch in the back of the end zone, wide receiver drags his foot, gets both feet down, touchdown. somebody always makes a big
Yeah,
play.
they do.
In the Super Bowl last year, it was the defensive back who steps up, intercepts the ball from the Seahawks, makes the big play where, gosh, should they have run the ball? You got Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. They throw the pass gets intercepted, ball game, Super Bowl champs.
Yep.
And then you got the GOAT talk. Is Tom Brady the greatest sports person of all time if he wins another Super Bowl? Does he eclipse Michael Jordan and the globalization that Michael Jordan did with the NBA? I've got a biased opinion on that because I'm a basketball guy.
Right.
But when you look at, to even be in the conversation of being the GOAT, you're in rare air.
Right.
I mean, let's admit it. Come on, Tom Brady deserves all the success that he gets. When he came in as a 6th round draft pick, you look at those old, write-ups from scouts, and you looked at his body, and he wasn't athletic, and he ran a super slow, 40-second, 440. I mean, come on, the time was brutal, but his perseverance, he continued to work hard, and you got to love that work ethic, because I think there's something to be said for young athletes out there, the work ethic. Peyton Manning did the same thing. Look at the success that Peyton Manning had, and I love the success that he had leaving the Colts, and I love that he had great success even with the Broncos, even after the Colts didn't think he could do it anymore after his neck surgery.
Right.
So again, hard work, perseverance, putting in the time, getting the timing down. Come on, Brady's 40 years old and still putting up amazing numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, touchdowns and receptions, and so again, he's in rarefied air to be in that GOAT conversation, and I love the dialogue and ideas about it. Yourself?
Yeah, I think so too. The one thing that I think is interesting about those individuals you mentioned is they all believed in themselves.
There you go. Right.
They said, I can do this.
Yeah.
And it has to start there. If you don't believe in yourself, chances are that's the result you're going to get.
It's so true. So true. I mean, the hard work pays off, right?
Yeah,
There
it does.
you go.
Greatest of all time, I don't know.
Right.
But, what qualifies you as the greatest of all time? You can be greatest of all time at a certain aspect of it, but there's a whole picture there that
Amen.
you've got to come into too. So, I mean, because he's not been without controversy.
That's right. That's exactly right. There's been some, Deflategate,
Right.
Changing the PSIs and the air pressure in a football. So yeah, there's things that you can question, and I'm sure they all try to gain a competitive edge however they can. But if you break the rules, you gotta suffer the consequence.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Great comment. I'm glad you brought it up. Hey, just got a text message via phone. My dad out in Indiana says his dog Buddy doesn't care who wins or loses, as long as it's not New England. So Buddy is out there cheering for the Philadelphia Eagles, the little dachshund Buddy. All right, Buddy, appreciate your input out there,
That's
my man.
right.
Appreciate that comment. Any other comments come in? Just last few minutes?
Well, let's see. I'm just kind of looking at a couple things here. Cassidy Zek.
Cassie, hey Cassie.
See, Victor
Oladipo, I bet.
Oladipo is my favorite. Wish we had more players like him in the current Indiana University basketball team.
Cassie, thank you for your comment out there, hon. Love it. Yeah, and matter of fact, Victor Oladipo was a player for the Indiana University, and then he's now playing there with the Indiana Pacers. He's having a great year, and yes, he's out there as an All-Star this year. Victor, congratulations, and Cassie, thank you for your comment. Love you out there now, girl. Appreciate it. Keep them coming in.
Yeah, and we've got quite a few comments up there.
Okay. Pick out your favorite ones.
Well, I'm just kind of scanning through them here.
Yeah.
A lot of this is dialogue between people who are making comments or commenting to each other. So
Okay, cool.
So that's kind of cool there.
I like that. I'm just now pulling my page back up because, again, I've got to teach myself with this new live format. I want to see the comments as they come in also, and for some reason I'm not pushing the right button as I'm here, but love the interaction, love the phone calls today. David Floyd from Texas, thank you for your call. Scotty Easterling from West Virginia, thank you so much for your call. T-Money calls in. with sharing his insight, with his NBA, with his finger on the pulse out there. Some other comments have been coming in on Facebook Live. Again, you can, if you're on Twitter, you can use hashtag Coach Scott Fields, and that same Twitter feed would come in. And I know your wife had sent in a few tweets earlier when the show was just starting, so want to thank her and hope you're doing well out there. Thanks for letting your husband come out and play out here on the Coach Scott Fields show from Brave Haven Studios. And we've had a great show tonight, Bob.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I mean, again, we're learning, we're growing, we're trying to put an entertaining product out there that obviously, we're getting some positive feedback. And again, 142 people liked the show from last week. And if we can continue, if you have enjoyed what you have seen and have been entertained and like the content, please share our Coach Scott Fields show to invite your friends to like the show. We appreciate that. And we got some exciting things coming up. Got a former player of mine from Europe, Bob, who is working on a new logo for us, so I think that would be interesting. And maybe he'll give us a couple options where the fan can go out and vote, see which logo they like.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of working on a little deal for some merchandise of the Coach Scott Fields show, so putting feelers out there, putting it out to the universe, as they say in The Secret, and kind of having some... We're starting talks. We're in the grassroots of talks of having some merchandise for the Coach Scott Fields show. So I'm excited for that, and hopefully we'll have an announcement here real soon on that. Again, Friendly Giant Films out there. He's got a Facebook page. Please go like his page. Again, Friendly Giant Films. That's Nick Fitzgerald. You can reach him at 801-856-3670. Again, like his page, and he does a great job with growing that whole brand of his with video documentary, anything and everything as far as video productions, editing, commercials, video documentaries for businesses. Again, Nick, keep up the great work out there, buddy.
Yep, just keep at it, keep plugging away.
That's right. I mean, we're doing the same thing here with the show, so we're all trying to grow and help each other. And again, thank you so much for the comments that were shared. We'll continue to get better at it and continue to have that interaction. But man, it was great to have the phone calls. My son B. Sly called in from Alamosa, and I don't know, it just got me emotional when he called in. I had to kind of swallow and catch myself there, and he's like, hello, and I couldn't even answer him back because I was like, I was so proud that he called in, and appreciate his support out there in Alamosa, Colorado as well.
Yeah, and good luck to him and the rest of the season for the team.
Yeah, I think they're in 5th place right now in the RMAC, and they've got some tough games that are coming up. So Adams State out there, the Grizzlies are doing their things, and you agents out there, you general managers who are watching globally, keep your eye on that boy, and remember the name, B. Sly. He's got a chance at the next level, Bob. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Hey, I also want to send a special shout out to my wife. Thanks for putting up with me. I couldn't do this without you. Thanks for your love and support and being behind what we do. And maybe I'll have her come on video too and help introduce Betty the Bulldog when she makes her Super Bowl pick this week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what. She's camera friendly. She looks a whole lot better than I do sitting in front of this camera. I mean that's got to be worth viewership alone, right there.
Right.
Huh?
That's right. There you go. Yeah, no kidding.
I truly overachieved, Bob, when I selected and was blessed to share my life with my spouse. I love her, and she's an amazing woman, inside and out, and just man, I'm a lucky man, just as you are. We've both outkicked our coverage, as they say.
Okay, just got a comment up there from Steve Kirk.
Oh wow, Coach Kirk, how you doing, Coach?
And he's got a good comment for us. He's hoping to talk more local sports rather than the same stuff ESPN covers.
Oh,
so
Coach Kirk, thank you. I like that. Yeah, that's exactly right. Good deal.
So I think that's something we can focus on there too. And I'm looking back, we've had it's hard to keep up with the comments that come in. So
let me tell you about Coach Kirk. Coach Kirk, thank you so much for taking the time. He's been an AAU coach here in the Valley for years. And matter of fact, my son, B. Sly, played for Coach Kirk in Utah Dynasty. And Coach Kirk does work with young ladies here in the Valley. And he has a son who's playing who also went through Utah Dynasty. And Coach Kirk, keep up the work. that you do here in the Salt Lake Valley, you know, working with the youth and coaching the youth. And I know you've got to be very proud of a lot of the ladies that you've worked with who are going on to further their education with scholarships. So thank you so much for that comment, and continue the great work. And we ought to have you on as a guest as well to talk about some of your experiences. And we'll put some more, you know, we're going to have some local guests come on in the show in the future. And I think we should talk about that because, you know, yes, it's a local show, but it's also national and international. And, you know, I've got some great friends in the industry who have already said that, gave us verbal commitments that they want to come on and be show guests. And that's going to be added to our format here in the very near future. And we're awful thrilled and excited to have them come be a part of this, of the content that we're sharing. That's going to be not only entertaining, but also empowering, because, you know, in the previous years, you know, we always talked about empower, educate, and grow. We're going to continue to use this format to do just that, huh, Bob?
Yep, absolutely. And you know, we were talking before the show about some local kids and things that we wanted to have on the show and talk about and interview.
That's right.
So.
Well, and again, just because, you know, everyone has a journey. Everyone has a story. And if we can learn and grow from each other's journeys and their stories, I think that's an powerful tool. And there's a young man who I'm really excited to have come on the show here in the very near future, and be looking for those posts and updates when we have some of those live guests come in, and also, you know, future call-in guests that are right here in the Salt Lake Valley but will be a part of it. But love the comment from Coach Kirk, and,
yep.
and, you know, talk about some local stuff, not just you know, he used the ESPN, but da-da-da, da-da-da. Yeah, they do a great job. But again, there's a lot of blah, blah with that. And appreciate that, you know, keeping us grounded and keeping us real. Thanks, Coach Kirk. Anything else out there, Bob?
No, I guess my apologies to Coach.
Oh, no.
Because he's had some comment going back through the comments. There's a bunch of comments that I missed. But he's got some really good questions.
Great.
That maybe you can answer him directly from the comment thing.
Okay.
Reply to his comments.
Okay, so and we'll do that definitely after the show, because I definitely want to take the time for the people who you know asked questions of us, and when I'm able to get on there after the show, we'll definitely respond to those. And thanks for taking the time to interact with us as we're bringing this show to you live right here. I touched on it earlier in the show, and I just want to do it, you know, just cover it briefly. I did talk about a gentleman who is the head of the brand, the Big Baller brand, LeVar Ball. And I know that he gets a lot of coverage. He also has a Facebook Live show. I think it's Ball in the Family. I'm really struggling with some of the comments that he makes about people of our industry. A few weeks ago, Bob, he goes on, and his son was the number 2 draft pick of the LA Lakers, and he called out his coach, Luke Walton, and said that Luke Walton was losing the team. And why a guy like that feels he has the credibility, or I wish we didn't give him the format to make those types of comments. And then ESPN in a post-game interview, and I think it was also NBA TV, the head coach of the champions Golden State Warriors, Coach Steve Kerr, he gets on and says that, you know, we shouldn't give him a platform and a microphone because he was basically the Kardashians of coaching. And then that fired back, and then LeVar Ball said that Steve Kerr was the Milli Vanilli of NBA coaches. Now, come on. Comments like that, okay, I've never met the man. I've been around him because I was out there at the NBA Summer League. I saw his little entourage, and I saw, you know, he was promoting his brand. That's fine. Promote your brand. But your brand also got an F from the Better Business Bureau, because these people have paid an astronomical amount of money for the shoe. The shoe comes not in the right size. And I've read all that. And again, there's, you know, what do you believe that really comes back? But
right.
If it's from the Better Business Bureau and he got an F, well then start concentrating on your brand. He pulled his sons out of school, pulled his son out off the high school team because he didn't think his coach was coaching him right, and said he was going to homeschool him. Then he pulls his older son, the second oldest son, LaMelo, off the team from UCLA after the theft incident in China. does he really think pulling his son off of a traditional powerhouse at UCLA is better for him, and then sends him to play in a lower division in Europe for the 17U team? I'm just got to throw that out there because that's what I saw. I don't believe all the hype and like, oh my gosh, he's playing professionally. That was a lower level team that they were playing with.
Right.
Now, you're going to see on Instagram, you're going to see on Twitter, oh, the one boy gets a triple-double. He's doing it against young guys. Come on, you were playing at UCLA. John Wooden, Westwood, one of the best, most recognized college basketball brands in the country. You pulled him out of that program, and you think you're doing better for him?
Yeah.
Are you really doing what's best for your kids? When you have made those choices for your kids, are you exploiting your kids, or are you simply trying to just grow the brand of BBB?
In my opinion, that's what it is. You know, and I haven't really been following that at all.
Yeah.
But you know, hey, I can pull a triple double. I can go to the elementary school and I can pull a triple double.
Hey, you'd back him down on the post and
Barbecue chicken there, Bob.
That's right.
I love
They
it.
couldn't stop me in the paint.
And that's probably one of the last times that I'm going to address it. But when I see this, and then he got in that Twitter war with President Trump, talking about how I don't even want to give it any more airtime, but I wanted to touch on it because people asked me my opinion on it. I was going to brush on it quickly. Those are my opinions. Do what's best for those boys. Do what's best for their future and their careers. Do I think the second oldest boy has a chance to play professionally in the NBA? No. There's your challenge. Prove me wrong. Do I think the youngest boy has a chance? I think he's a product of the AAU culture. I question his shot selection. I think he's got a decent basketball IQ. He's got some talent. He's obviously got the green light because he'll pull up from half court and shoot a shot. Is it team ball? No. Do I think he's skilled as a guard to read defenses and make plays? I do think he's got a chance. But let's let him grow and develop the proper way. This guy also said that he was going to have a professional league over here next year, and basically he was going to take the money from his son from the LA Lakers and start a new league so that way it'd give kids options not to have to go to college and be exploited by NCAA and let them play. But that's what the G League does. That's what the G League's doing right now.
Right.
Why would a player leave a UCLA or a Duke or a North Carolina or an Indiana when they've got a great atmosphere to grow? Even though he may go there for 6 months, Ben Simmons did it at LSU. Why would they not go to college and get the support systems that they have there instead of being thrown on a bus and make a 16-hour drive and now you're on a per diem eating McDonald's? Come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And again, he throws those comments out there. Great PR guy. Great marketer because we're all talking about it because of his crazy comments. So maybe if I say a crazy comment, it'll go viral and then we'll blow up.
There we go.
I guess I need some craziness. I need some silliness. But I'm just going to speak from the heart from what I believe. But that's the last I'm going to comment on that guy. And thank you for you guys who sent in the questions and the text messages to me. They asked me what I thought about it. I've said it. I'm not giving him any more air because supposedly he goes over to take an assistant coaching job because it was his brand that brought the boys over there. You don't think he's not going to stab that head coach in the back to get that head coaching job? Already done it. He's already done it.
Yeah, he's already got it in progress.
It was his master plan. And if that's what you do you. I think Tiger Woods' father did a great job with him and got Tiger to a great level. And then look at some of the choices that Tiger made as he got older.
Yep.
I'm not judging. I'm just putting it out there. It was
Right.
real. Look at what Serena Williams and Venus Williams' father did with them when they were real young, and look at all the accomplishments that they've had as individuals growing up, again, in South Central LA, and arguably the best tennis player, male or female. Serena just had a baby. Congratulations on the baby. She'll get back in and get back into tennis. I don't question parents when they're doing things the right way without an ulterior motive
Right.
and a hidden agenda. I think this man has a hidden agenda, and he's always exploiting to promote his brand. Dude, you're getting an F from the Better Business Bureau. Stop. Let these kids be kids. Let them grow and develop. And if they can be NBA players, let them earn it and deserve it. Don't sit there and do something to make their life harder. Do they really want to be in Lithuania? Was it their choice or was it your choice? I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Chew on it, marinate on it. That's my opinion. I'm letting it go. All right?
All right, sounds
All right.
good.
Hey, we've been on here for quite a while.
An hour and 35 minutes.
Oh my goodness. Hey, for you who hung in there with us on the Coach Scott Field Show, thank you, love you, appreciate your support. Thank you for all the new likes. Please share the show with your family, with your friends, with people who you think will enjoy this content. We're going to bring even more content, outstanding special guests from the sports entertainment industry to continue to empower you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for allowing us to spend time with you from Brave Haven Studios. Here from Bob. Any last words, Bob?
No, just to remind everybody they can continue to watch this show over and over again.
That's right.
On Facebook, or you can go to the CoachScottFields.com and watch it there because it's up on that page.
And
you
also
go to
Bravehaven.
Bravehaven.com and watch it there.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Share it. And if there's a little clip or a segment of it that you think that needs to go out there, hey, let that message go viral. If you believed in what we were talking about, share it. Get it out there. And again, thank you for your support. And we will see you soon. Look for the next time that we come up with a date when the next show will come live. And hopefully we won't be quite so long-winded and we'll stay closer to an hour and we'll continue that format because we might be losing some viewers too.
Right.
And then they're not getting the whole clicks. But hey, come on and watch the show again on Facebook, CoachScottFields.com or BraveHaven.com. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.